Okay, welcome to Eco 501, Section 1, Week 3, Fall Semester MBA program, BRAC University. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we'll revisit two concepts that we said that last week we would, because last week we lost one class because of a government holiday. So this week we'll amalgamate those classes, and then we'll introduce a few topics. So can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, lovely.
Yes, sir.
Okay, lovely.
Yes,
So what
sir.
we do this week, we start off with revisiting opportunity cost with a case study, and we revisit incentives also with a case study. Then we go into the basic competitive model that we discuss in economics, and in economics we then discuss that other than price, there are other signals in the market, and then we look at marginal analysis. And at the end of our discussion today, we'll look at the assignment one, which we will be giving after the Tuesday class. How it will be termed, etc. You can ask me then. And at the bottom of the slides, you'll find today's references. Okay, so let's start with opportunity cost. We said that in economics, because of scarcity, we have to make a choice. Before we make a decision, we have lots of options in front of us, and from these options we try to make a calculated or informed best choice from all these options. So when we make a choice, what we do, we compare. We have three options in front of us or four options in front of us. We compare its various pros and cons. That means we compare the various benefits and the costs of each option. And then what do? We rank them. Now, if you want to quantify this ranking, you can. Even if you don't want to quantify, or even if you can't, it doesn't matter. When we make a decision, we always rank our options, and from them there, what we do, if we are looking at the benefits only, then we go for the highest benefit. If you're looking at costs, we go for the minimum choice. This way, this we discussed in last class. But in the real world, actually, what happens when we want to make when we make a choice for a benefit, we have to pay a price. That means in order to get a benefit, we have to pay a certain cost. So in the real world, what we do, we calculate net benefits. That means we calculate benefits minus cost. So if we have three options have three net benefits. We just calculate which of the three options give us the greater net benefit. So I'm sticking to this ranking process that we did from last class. That there are three options, B, A, and C. We have chosen option B, and we chosen option B for a specific reason, because we're studying at BRAC University, and BRAC starts with the letter B. So our ranking was B is greater than A is greater than C. Then from this particular ranking, we've chosen B. So what's our opportunity cost? The second best alternative that was available before the decision, but we did not choose. So the second best alternative here is A. So the opportunity cost of choosing B is sacrificing A. Now, if you have a different ranking system, which we mentioned last class, if the ranking system is, say, B is greater than C is greater than A, then the decision would be that C would be the opportunity cost of choosing B. Okay, now this is interesting. In the real world, opportunity cost calculates explicit and implicit costs. Have you heard the terms explicit and implicit costs? Have you heard the terms explicit and implicit costs in accounting sciences or any accounting course? If you haven't, you haven't. Don't
Yes,
worry.
sir.
Okay, who has? Who said yes?
Sir Farhan bin Salim.
Farhan bin Salim. Where did you get where did you find this concept?
Actually, today I was
Today,
reading a book called Economics 101. I was just going through that book, and there I have in account this thing.
haven't seen it before today.
I have, but I can't really recall.
You can't really go. Okay. Explicit and implicit, the terms tell us what they are. Explicit means something that we can see and we can observe and we can calculate. Implicit is we know that it's a cost, but we can't see it, we can't calculate it. This is the basic difference between explicit and implicit costs. Now, in accounting science, elementary accounting science, not accounting science of modern accounting science today, they calculate basically the explicit costs, the costs that come out of our pocket, the costs that we can identify, the costs that we can measure. For example, if we want to build a building, then what's the costs? The accountant can come and calculate. But in economics, when we're making a decision, before making the decision, we are comparing it against something else. So some costs are not going to come into calculation for the accountants. These are called implicit costs. These are costs that cannot be seen, and many of the times they cannot be quantified. Now, is that a problem? Yes and no. If you can't quantify something, maybe it's a problem for model building, but it's not a problem for decision making, as we shall see. Okay, now we're going to make a choice of an MBA. We have chosen an MBA at BRAC University. All of us here have made this choice. So we have two sets of students in this class. We have one set who have done their undergrad at BRAC University. We have another set who have done their undergrads outside BRAC University. Now, whether you belong, if you belong to group A, that can affect your decision of coming to BRAC University for an MBA. Then if you belong to group 2, that could also affect your decision whether you want to do an MBA over here. Now, financing, who will finance and how? All costs seen when it comes to calculating financial costs. Can we see all the financial costs? Can we calculate each and every financial cost?
No, sir.
We can't. Why? Number one, there are some explicit costs which we can calculate right now, that there's a certain tuition fee, there will be a certain entertainment cost over 2 years, there will be certain traveling cost, etc., etc. These we can calculate. But suppose you're coming from say Narayanganj. Is there anybody here in this class who comes from near about Narayanganj? Nobody. Okay. Is there anybody in this class who comes from Uttara?
Yes, sir. I come from Uttara. It's closer to Narayanganj.
It's closer to Narayanganj. Okay. So let's assume that somebody is coming from Narayanganj. Okay. Now that person can definitely calculate the financial cost of coming from Narayanganj to Mohakhali, attend the class and go back home. But then he also has to calculate the wear and tear on his body and his health. He might reach home at say 10:30, 11 o'clock, or even 11:30 at night, and he has to go to office the next day. So these costs are very difficult to calculate. But when you make a decision, you have to keep them in mind. So what do? We rank these costs. Eta kori na amra? When we can't calculate a cost, but we know that this is a cost that we have to incur. What do? If we can't calculate, do we rank these costs?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
We definitely rank them. If we can't calculate, we cannot calculate everything in numbers, but we can definitely calculate that. Okay, if I have to go from Narayanganj every day, and this is not an online course, from next semester is going to be say face to face, hopefully. So then you will definitely be calculating these costs. And if you have a family in Narayanganj, for example, somebody if there's a mother in this class with a little baby, then that lady has to calculate other costs, which you cannot calculate in terms of numbers, but you can calculate qualitatively. So when we're making this decision, whether we want to come to BRAC University or not, so the location is a big factor in your decision making. Financing is also a factor. So if you are already an undergrad from BRAC, probably you are familiar with all the financial loopholes where you can apply to get some certain kind of waivers, etc. If you so this could have affected your choice. Another thing is, what are the advantages of doing an MBA at BRAC University? One advantage could be that BRAC University has a good alumni association. BRAC University, if you do an MBA here, you will get a first choice in joining a BRAC organization, whether that's BRAC Bank, whether that's BRAC the NGO, a research organization of BRAC. If you are interested in research later on, BRAC has a vast international network of research organizations. So these are various advantages of doing side advantages of doing an MBA at BRAC. Did anybody think about these things when they made a decision while comparing themselves to other options? BRAC এর এইসব সাইড বেনিফিটস গুলো যে আছে এগুলো কি ডিসিশনে নিয়ে আনা হয়েছিল?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes people might choose will go over budget to make this type of decision.
But if they go over the budget, they are not going over the budget without a bad reason. They're going over the budget with a good reason that these are the extra benefits that I'm going to get if I can have an MBA at BRAC, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay, so what we are going to do when we're making this decision, we all definitely have to think about what are the advantages an MBA from BRAC-U have over other choices that were available to you before you made the commitment. Now, some of these choices, these benefits will be quantifiable. You can quantify them. Some of them you cannot quantify them. But even if we can't quantify these benefits or these costs, we can at least rank them. What's the next thing? AJ, here it is. Oh, I should have mentioned this before. Explicit costs are costs that can be measured. These are known as financial costs. Implicit costs are costs that cannot be directly measured, but they can be ranked against other options. So what are your explicit and implicit costs in the decision to do an MBA at BRAC-U? Think.
I have a question now.
Sorry, কে কিছু বলছে?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Sir,
Okay.
before a few minutes ago, you said that can all financial costs be measured? Then someone said no. But if we know that financial costs are explicit costs, then they can all be measured, right?
They can be measured if they are all explicit costs, but they will never be explicit costs. Because of, for
You are
example,
telling that financial costs can be explicit as well as implicit.
no, normally financial costs are all explicit costs because when we say accounting costs, then the word accounting comes from the word count.
Yeah.
So if we can count something, then we can say whether it is 5, whether it is 6, or whether it is 7. From that concept, the concept of financial costs come. That's why in economics, we assume that all accounting costs can be counted. Okay, but in real life, this is just an initial assumption. In real life, you cannot calculate all costs. Like some of the location cost that we said, if somebody has to come from Narayanganj, if somebody has a little baby in their house, okay.
But
So-
sir, are those explicit costs? Won't those be implicit costs? Yeah.
Yeah, those are implicit costs. The other ones that I told you.
Those are not actually financial costs, right?
No, because you cannot really. Can you really count them? How much cost a mother has to, bear in order to do an MBA, or how much cost a person has to bear health-wise if they have to come from Narayanganj? You cannot calculate these costs, can you?
Those are not quantifiable.
Can you calculate these costs? এই কস্টগুলো কি ক্যালকুলেট করা সম্ভব?
No, sir, not in numbers.
Not in number. You can make an effort to do that, but it won't be a very good exercise.
It won't be a good estimate.
ঠিক আছে? Okay, so where were we? Acha. Now the thing that I wanted to say then was, when we are calculating our decision to do an MBA at BRAC University, the costs that we incur will be over, say, 2 years, on the assumption that it will take you 2 years to finish an MBA. Is that the normal time that people need in order to do an MBA at BRAC University?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we are calculating the costs, we will be calculating over a stream of 2 years. That these are the costs that I have to incur. These are the costs that I can measure right now in terms of money. These are the costs I can't measure if I do a MBA in BRAC. Then I calculate the same costs over 2 years if I did an MBA at another university, whatever that university is. Okay, then we compare. Then we make a ranking. Okay, so this is the net cost at BRAC. This is the net cost at another alternative university. We do the same thing for benefits. Now, when we do the same thing for benefits, the problem is, how long will you benefit from an MBA in your workplace? Ask your bosses. After they did an MBA, didn't they do external courses, additional courses, like, you know, they did this training program, that workshop, এগুলি করতে হয় না? Even if you do an MBA from the best business school in the world, then you come and join Bangladesh in some in anywhere. তারপরেও কি এসব ট্রেনিং প্রোগ্রাম করতে হয় না?
Yes, sir.
So when we calculate the stream of benefits, then you calculate for how long do you think this BRAC University MBA will help you. Will it be 2 years before you start taking additional training? Will it be 3 years before you start taking additional training? এভাবে কি চিন্তা করেছিল কেউ ডিসিশনটা নেওয়ার সময়?
No, sir.
Nobody thought. But now if you think of it like this, that okay, the costs I can calculate over 2 years or maybe 2.5 years if I'm doing it part-time, so slow and steady, or even 3 years. But the benefits are not going to be enjoyed throughout your entire professional career. You can enjoy the benefits for 2 years, 3 years, maximum 5 years. After that, the world will be changing, and then automatically you will have to further update yourself. If you look at your bosses in your office, they're doing the same thing. They might have done an MBA from a good school, they might have come out with good results, etc. But now দেখা যাবে weekend-এ they're taking this course, they're doing that, they're always trying to update themselves. So if we calculate the stream of benefits, for how long will that stream of benefit be applicable? Will it be 3 years? Will it be 4 years? Now you think in a cool head. বোঝা গেছে? Got it?
Got it, sir.
So set A, this is the net benefits, this is the net costs if you want to do an MBA at BRAC. Set B, this is the net benefits, net benefit costs for alternative B in another university, same in another university for C. Then we calculate, okay, this is why I have chosen MBA at BRAC University. Now you get it?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you repeat it one more time?
Sorry, so do you want me to repeat myself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, lovely. So the costs we assume that it will be over 2 years. Some of these costs are explicit costs, some of these costs are implicit costs. Implicit costs we cannot calculate, but at least we can identify that these are the costs that we are going to incur if we do the MBA at BRAC University. The benefits, it's a very unrealistic assumption that if I do an MBA at BRAC, it will benefit me for throughout my entire career. That's a very unrealistic assumption. So let's assume that the benefit will be for 5 years. After that, you will have to self-improve yourself. Your bosses are doing the same. So you calculate a stream of benefits, a stream of costs over this time. Then you find out how much it is for BRAC. Compare it with alternative B, another university which you didn't choose. Alternative C, another university you didn't choose. Then we calculate the net benefits. That means the stream of benefits minus stream of costs. And then we decide, okay, now we decide to go for BRAC. The reason why I'm saying this is, although we are looking at an example in the context of the MBA at BRAC that we are all doing right now, you can apply this same principle in other decision making in your professional and your personal life. বোঝা গেছে এবার?
Yes, sir.
Huh? So basically what we do, we costs are incurred over say 2 years, but benefits are received over a time after you finish an MBA at BRAC. You fix the time stream of benefits, because it will be too idealistic to think that benefits will. Okay. Now, this is something we have I have indirectly mentioned right now, is that the MBA at BRAC is not going to last forever. So opportunity cost arises before a decision is made. When we had options A, B, C, D in front of us to choose from. Once we have made the decision that we are committing ourselves to the MBA, then after 1 or 2 semesters, you will find that even if it's a bad decision, you cannot leave. You have to finish the MBA because you've committed yourself. Now, decision making in this context is called the sunk cost. Once we've made the decision, that the commitment that we've made in order to go for it becomes a sunk cost. We are not interested in sunk cost in decision making because it's in the past. Now, how do you tackle this problem? If you find out that this is not a good option, that you should have come for MBA at BRAC, how will you tackle this problem? If after 2 semesters or 3 semesters you find out that coming to BRAC wasn't your cup of tea, what will you do? Will you stop and go do something else, or will you continue with the MBA?
Many consider credit transfer to another university.
Okay, so so you see you have one option in front of you, right? Huh? Okay, somebody else might think that, okay, আমি side by side আরেকটা কাজ করি. Another person might think, okay, instead of 2 years, I'll finish it in 4 years. Within this time, I'll do something else. There are 1001 options in order to, adapt with the new environment. Before you came to BRAC, you faced one environment. Once you've entered BRAC, after 1 semester or 2 semesters, you will face a different environment. The different environment may be good. If it is, you're happy. If it's not, what do you do? So this thing is not going to be in your textbook, but this is something that you have to think about. That if you find out that this decision is not a good decision, okay, what do you do? This is something for you to think about. লজিকটা বোঝা গেছে আমি কি বলতে চাচ্ছি? Have I made myself clear? নাই, কেউ শুনতে পাচ্ছে না? Have I made myself clear? Can you guys hear me? Have I made myself clear? Sure, no,
Hello.
Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say? That what's
Only
the,
now we are able to hear you.
Sir, you were interrupted.
I was interrupted. Now can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we can hear you.
Yes,
Lovely.
sir. Now it's
That's
clear.
good. Now, internet is very unstable today. I don't know why. Maybe because of Bishti. Anyhow, the thing that I'm trying to say is that when we make a decision, before the decision we have options. We can calculate whether commuter break was a good option. But after we make the decision, after 1 or 2 semesters have gone, then and only then we will find out whether this decision was a good decision in the end. এটা আগে থেকে বোঝা যায় না। Okay, so what do? If we find out it's a good decision, we carry on. If we don't find that's a good decision, how can we get out? Or is it possible, or is it that we cannot get out? ঠিক আছে? So this is something you have to think about is what was the how do you tackle this problem if the decision is not good? In the end, okay, so we can think about it. Okay, so we've finished the concept of opportunity cost. কারো কোনো question আছে? Do you have any questions at this stage? Shall we move on to the incentives one?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, so incentives we defined in the last class is that incentives is nothing but things that encourage us to do something. Disincentives is just opposite, things that discourage us to do something. Now, in an economic system, or even in a very small case study, suppose we want to go to a coffee shop. I own a coffee shop. What do I want to do? I want to create an environment where people automatically come to my coffee shop. They have a nice time. They leave, they want to come back again. At the same time, I want to have some internal mechanisms where I don't have to tell anybody something, but if somebody creates an embarrassment, the system can take care of it on its own. This is automatic incentives and disincentives. Now, this is a thought exercise which you will is just that we're thinking about a coffee shop. The first thing is, how can you make your customer like your products or service? It doesn't have to be a coffee shop. It can even be a barber যেখানে চুল কাটে. So the first thing that we need to think about in the context of a coffee shop is that how can you make your customer like your product or service? This is an incentive. Next thing, how can you make your customer return to your shop? This is another incentive. How can you create an environment where they'll want to come back? How can you make the customer not spend too much time and occupy space? তাই না, একটা লোক যদি একটা কফি খেতে এসে যদি 3 ঘন্টা থাকে, তাহলে that person is occupying a table, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's not you don't want that to happen either, do you?
No, sir.
You definitely don't want that to happen. So if they do something like that, you can't be rude, but is there an automatic way of making sure that these embarrassments don't arise? So what's the objective of doing this? The objective of doing all this is that how will you handle these systems? Okay, এটা কি last class আমরা আলোচনা করেছিলাম? Did we discuss this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so another thought experiment after our opportunity cost is that maybe today we're talking about in the context of a coffee shop. It can be in the context of what do you call it, a bookshop. It can be in the context of anything else. So if you have a bookshop in, say, Bonani, how can you make your bookshop attractive to your customers? How can you make your customers come back to you? ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, let me give you a secret. Have you noticed that in most of the good coffee shops, the moment you enter, you can smell nothing but coffee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, does that influence your, does that make you happy, or does that influence your, experience?
Sir, influence করে sir.
Influence করে, আচ্ছা। If you go to a good pastry shop, যেখানে ভালো ভালো পেস্ট্রিজ বিক্রি হয়, the moment you enter the pastry shop, অনেক গন্ধ, সুন্দর সুন্দর গন্ধ পাওয়া যায় না?
Yes sir.
melting chocolate, হ্যাঁ, তারপর হচ্ছে
Yes,
এই
sir. Baking smell.
বেকিং স্মেল, হ্যাঁ, স্ট্রবেরির গন্ধ, সুন্দর সুন্দর গন্ধ পাওয়া যায় না?
Yes sir.
আচ্ছা, does that influence your experience in that particular pastry shop? So this is another way of making the customer come to your shop, and this is something that if you just Google and find out what are the behavioral ways of keeping customers, this is one reason, one of the ways that customers can be brought to the shop just by the smell. A perfume shop, have you gone to a specialized perfume shop? Not one in say Agora or Unimart. Okay, when you go to Unimart, when you go to the perfume section, জায়গাটা সুন্দর গন্ধতে আশেপাশে থাকে না সারাক্ষণ?
Yes sir.
So they do that intentionally. So to create incentives, so automatically people are attracted in order to come to your business center. So this is a thought process. It may come in the assignment. I'll discuss later. Acha. Now we move on to a new topic. The topic is that the competitive model. The competitive model, we define it as one of the basic models of economics. We start on this assumption and then we slowly break the assumptions and we cover new ground. Now, the first thing is exchanges are done between households and firms. So somebody wants to buy, somebody wants to produce, they meet in a market setting. Acha. If you don't meet in a market setting, what is the problem? The problem is that in a market setting, large scale cooperation is possible. Now, think about Karun Bazaar in Dhaka city. That's a huge market where you can find lots of groceries and other stuff. These things, if they weren't, because they are sold in Karun Bazaar, large scale cooperation is possible. How? Lots of producers come in order to sell, lots of buyers come in order to sell. If this same thing was scattered throughout this whole city, there would be it would be time consuming, it would be cost consuming, etc. That's why in a market setting, in a formal market setting, lots of transactions is possible. This means that large scale cooperation is possible without any central coordination. What is central coordination? Central coordination means the government decides who gets what or how something is done. The government does that, but if the government does that in all spheres of life, it would be a little bit problematic. So what we do is, the competitive model is nothing but it's just a market, is just an institutional arrangement where buyers and sellers meet in order to transact something. Now, the first assumption of the competitive model is rationality, which we've already discussed, that the buyers and the sellers have the ability to identify which is best and which is not best or which is worst. Profit motive, when firms aim at profit motive, then they are channeling resources to the best ends. Competition is competition is important. Now that's in the next slide. Acha, central coordination to আগে যেটা বললাম, that an external institution does not influence your outcomes. Now, BRAC University has some set of rules within which you have to operate. Similarly, any market also has a set of external rules within which you have to operate. What are those rules? We'll discuss them right now. Okay, competition means in economics that nobody has a market share. What does that mean? How much market share?
মনোপলিতে চলছে
এখানে কেউ আছে রবিতে চাকরি করে? রবি টেলিকম or Grameen Phone? Okay, you don't. Does anybody know how much market share Grameen Phone has? Is it 40%?
Sir, more than 70%, sir.
Grameen Phone?
Yes, sir.
No,
Sir,
sir.
Grameen Phone প্রায় half.
It's between 40 to 50%.
No, 70 হতেই পারে না। 70 হলে এতদিন ওকে মনোপলি বলে ভেঙে ফেলতো।
Sir, more than half control করে এটা তো সবসময় আমরা বিজনেস বলে সবসময় শুনে আসতাম মানে স্যার
হাফ এখন আর নাই, এককালে 60 পর্যন্ত ছিল।
দেন হাফ আমাদের কন্ট্রোল করে
Yes, sir. Sir, below 50% actually.
Sir, it's between 40 to 50%, sir.
আচ্ছা, it doesn't
Hi.
matter. The thing is, Grameen Phone has a big market share whereby Grameen Phone can influence the market outcome. Is that, do we agree that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as a seller, Grameen Phone in the telecom market has a big market share so that it can influence the total market outcome. The reverse is also true as a buyer. If I'm a very big buyer, my buying decisions can also influence the market. So in economics, we start off with the assumption that no buyer or no seller has any market share. How is that possible? Now, the most simple example in the context of Dhaka city is, what is the most common item that you will find selling in Dhaka city? Isn't that eggs?
Yes, sir.
If you go on the street, you will find two commodities in anywhere in Dhaka city that are being sold. Number one, okay, Naveen, we'll check that later. Thank you. Number one হচ্ছে eggs, আর এটা হচ্ছে bananas, তাই না?
Yes, sir.
You will find lots of other things, but if you walk on the street, these are the two items that you will definitely see anywhere in Bangladesh. Eggs and bananas are sold. Now, if there are 20 million people in Dhaka city, 2 koti, if 50% of them has one egg every day, so what is the demand for eggs in Dhaka city? 10 million eggs every day, তাই না?
Yes.
Isn't that a huge market?
Yes, sir.
10 million eggs every day are being transacted in Dhaka city on the simple assumption that 50% of the people enjoys one egg every day. Okay, so 10 million eggs. How is there any seller large enough to control these 10 million eggs?
Okay.
Is there any single buyer large enough in order to decide that tomorrow I'm not going to buy? If I don't buy, then the market price will go up and down. Is there any buyer in this market?
Okay.
So the market that we start off with is a market where no seller, no buyer has any kind of market share. That means no single buyer, no single seller can influence the outcome of the market. That's not the case for Grameen Phone. That's not the case for many markets. But this is the standard that we start off with. Then we see how we deviate from this standard. For example, we make a standard that the blood pressure of a good blood pressure is what? 120/80 na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we take the blood pressure of everybody in this class, will we get 120/80?
No, sir.
Everybody will be a little bit plus minus. Similarly, the best temperature is what? 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Body temperature.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. That's the normal.
That's the normal. We assume that that's the normal. But if we take the body temperature of everybody in this class, it will never be 98.4. Maybe one person in the entire class will show 98.4. Everybody's body temperature will be plus minus. But we compare everybody's body temperature against 98.4. We compare everybody's BP against. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
breaking.
It's breaking. ওই network চালাতে থাকি যতক্ষণ পারা যায়। So economics also starts off with the basic assumption that there is no market power for anybody. That means nobody has any market share. The consequence of this, we'll get into these things in detail later, is that when nobody has any market share, then what will happen? The market will determine at what price eggs will sell. The market will determine at what price bananas will sell. There will be no influence either by the government or by farms or any syndicates or buyers, etc. And rational consumers, we've already discussed this. We talk about net utility, which is utility minus expenditure. Rational firms also calculate net profits, revenue minus costs. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
if a company occupies 50% of the market share, will it be considered as monopoly market?
Answer to that question depends on which country you're looking at. Number one, it also depends on what industry you're looking in. Okay.
Okay, sir.
When 10 years ago, Grameenphone had a monopoly of 60% and above. Okay. The government did not say anything because the government needed to develop a network of mobile technology. But today, if Grameenphone had 60%, Grameenphone would have been in trouble with the regulatory operators. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Same thing is happening with Facebook now. Facebook is trying to break itself. They're not trying to break itself out of humanity. They're trying to break themselves. Otherwise, the law enforcing organization in the US will break them up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it depends actually. There are ways of calculating it, whether 50% is a monopoly or 40% or 70%. But that depends on the industry. It also depends on the country that you're looking at. Okay, now. So basically, what happens is when no buyer or seller has any market influence, then the markets for eggs and bananas will be determined by supply and demand. Acha. So what's this? Oh, acha. These are the three signals through which markets will be operating. Number one, prices. Number two, profits. These two we have discussed. Number three is property rights. Acha, prices ta kichui na is just a signal so that if the price is high, then something is in scarcity. So suppliers would want to supply. If something is price is low, then households will demand it, etc. Profits is when something profit is high, firms channel their capital towards high profits, etc. But eight amader dorkar, property rights. In the last class, did we mention Robinhood?
Yes, sir, you did.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Robinhood, if you know that Robinhood exists in Dhaka city, you go out and Robinhood will steal your wealth. Will you have an incentive to create wealth?
No, sir.
So the first institutional foundation of any market analysis is property rights. It is well defined. This thing belongs to me. If it is my my labor, then if I give this amount of time, this is the amount of wages that I will get. If this is uncertain, then I will have no incentive to work additional hours. Similarly, if you are a business house, if the what is yours and what is not yours is not well defined, then what will happen is you will have an incentive to not create wealth or hide your wealth or send your wealth to some offshore Cayman Islands or some other offshore Canary Islands, etc., etc. Okay, where all the Panama Papers end up. So property rights are essential in order to create incentives so that people can create wealth. If you're creating wealth, or people will have an incentive to work. if you are selling your labor. Okay. Now there's another thing with property rights that comes. Prices are not the only way that resources can be allocated. Resources can be allocated by queues. Have you noticed that various telecoms are taking pre-order for the latest iPhone?
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed?
Yes, sir.
Why are they taking pre-orders? Is that a price signal? We don't know the price of the iPhone yet, do we?
No, sir.
No, sir.
They're saying that, okay, you give 10,000 taka and you book your iPhone. But how much will that iPhone sell at? Have they declared it yet?
No, sir.
Acha,
No, sir.
so what people are doing here, they are lining up in a queue, in a line. By making a commitment that I'm going to pay 10,000 taka to book the iPhone. Now, if you are an Apple consumer, lots of people are in this class. Some people do. Those who are using iPhones, they will definitely have an incentive to get the new iPhone. Okay, so rationing by queues. Are you willing to wait in a queue? Acha. Let me give you another example. At the moment, in the media, you're also seeing government, what do you call it? Cheap food. Government supplies cheap food by trucks, and the queues are becoming longer and longer. Have you followed the media like this?
Yes, sir.
গভর্নমেন্টের যে মানে কিছু চিপ ফুড গভর্নমেন্ট দিচ্ছে, সো ওগুলো কিন্তু কিউ অনেক লম্বা হয়ে যাচ্ছে. Now the thing is, who is willing to wait in a queue?
The poor who has less money.
Can't
Less
rich,
resources.
no, can't rich people wait in a queue?
They can, sir. Of course, they can.
In the context of iPhone, they can. In the context of the next PS, PlayStation এখন কত চলছে? 4.
5.
5, sir.
When Sony launches the next PlayStation number 6, lots of people are going to stand in the queue. অনেকে করবে না?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the queue has nothing to do with whether people are poor or whether people are rich. The thing is, the commodity that is going to be supplied is in scarce. It's in scarcity. Some people qualify for the commodity, some others don't. Those who can qualify for the commodity, and they can identify themselves, they will stand in the queue.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Sure.
Sir, just based.
Yes, carry on.
Based on this context, sir, if we notice the Bangladeshi market, most of the time in these scenarios, it is the rich can avail themselves in Meena Bazaar and Shopno in other superstores. So my point is, sir, isn't the question should be based on Bangladeshi market? Doesn't it indicate that the availability of the resource or the scarcity of the resource is for which the queue is being determined upon?
Yes, but the queue
who can avail the resource?
But queue has nothing to do with whether the people who are standing in the queue are poor or rich. The context of iPhone 13 or PlayStation next version, everybody is going to stand in the queue. Because I want my latest iPhone, I want my latest PlayStation. At the same time, those who are in the lower income bracket, they need essentials, they will also stand in the queue. Right now?
Sir, it has nothing to do with availability of resource then.
Oh, it has to do with availability of resource, because in the context of the iPhone, those who will get the iPhone first are the ones who are going to be able to show it off, right? Now it's the latest iPhone touch, or the latest PlayStation touch, so they have an incentive to stand in the queue, because they know that maybe 1,000 copies are going to come to Bangladesh. in pre-order. So if I can get it now, the moment it launches, I can I'll get it. Acha. In the context of the food queues, those who are in the lower income bracket, they go out of necessity, not to show off, because they go out of necessity, because if they don't stand in the queue, they have to buy it from the local market at a higher rate.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So standing in a queue does not. Our psyche goes like this: that standing in a queue means four people are standing. No. For example, when Bangladesh plays, a টিকেটে কি কিউতে দাঁড়ায় থাকবে না লোকজন?
Yes, sir, we do.
টিকেট এই টিকেটে কি সবাই কি গরিব বা সবাই ধনী?
No, sir.
It's a question.
Understood, sir.
এবার লজিকটা বোঝা গেছে?
Yes, sir. Now I understand, sir.
Okay, great. So the thing is, when we stand in a queue, we are rationing because there's scarcity. Similar to other rationings we can do is we can ration by lotteries. For example, if there are something that is very, I have very few, so but there's a huge demand, I can offer a lottery. এই টাকাটা যে দিবে, আচ্ছা লটারি আর প্রি অর্ডারের মধ্যে পার্থক্যটা কি? When I'm pre-ordering for the latest iPhone or the latest PlayStation, I know that I will get it. In a lottery, I commit a certain amount of money, but I may not win the lottery. If I don't win the lottery, my money is lost. Lots of governments, what they do, they have a national lottery. America has it, UK also has it. They play the lottery, somebody wins say 10 million pounds or 10 million dollars. Okay, and all the money that is generated in the lottery, the government takes the money and uses it for some welfare project. In UK they do that, in America also they do that in various states. So this is one way of allocating resources. The last one is coupons. Coupons ta ki? What is the coupons? In Brack University, everyone in this class has a certain coupon for certain free printings throughout the semester, তাই না? Do you have a certain number of free printings throughout the entire semester from your computer lab?
Yes, sir.
How much is it? 200, 300 copies?
So 200, I guess, sir. 200.
200, 250 doesn't matter. Now, will they give that advantage to me?
Don't know, sir.
Faculties have their individual printers.
No. The thing is, this free printing, it's given to students because students can be identified with a particular student ID. ঠিক আছে? I also have an ID, but that ID is not a student ID. So if I log in with my with my ID to print something, I'll be billed. You won't be billed for the first 200 or 300 copies. Okay, so this has nothing to do with price, but if I can identify a certain group, a certain cohort, then I can give this particular thing to them. For example, right now, the government has gone on a drive to vaccinate kids from the age of 12 to 17, right? Do you know?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Before that, the government was saying that, okay, we'll vaccinate 18 and above. So 18 and above is very easy in the sense that they have an NID. NID dibe bas, it is determined what your age is. But from 12 to 17, they're asking for birth certificates, various types of documentation in the schools. I had to give it for my daughter. So what happens is, once you are doing this, then this particular vaccination will be given only to this particular person, because that person has a coupon. Now, couponer ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে, I can target the resource allocation to the particular group that I wanted to reach. You can do that as a what do you call it, as a private organization, I can also do that as a government. The government is now doing that with COVID-19 vaccine. Private organizations can also use coupon. Coupon use করতে পারে না?
Yes, sir. Sir, I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question.
Yes, sir.
আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ, who asked the question?
স্যার স্যার মাঝে মধ্যে কিছু ম্যাগাজিনসে হচ্ছে গিয়েও তো মানে ডিফারেন্ট টাইপের প্রোডাক্টস এর থাকে যে if you bring the particular cut out of from this magazine you will get a discount. That is also a coupon, right?
Right. And I was just about to give you an example like that. For example, say Ispahani cha. ঠিক আছে? Ispahani cha, ওটার মধ্যে একটা কুপন আছে. In your next purchase, you get 10 টাকা off. এরকম আছে না? অনেক সময় দেয় না?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ispahani chate, you buy a packet of Ispahani cha tea bags, and then you find a coupon inside that in your next purchase you get 10 taka off. That's a coupon. So the more coupons that I receive like that, I get two benefits. Number one, I can bring the customer back to me. Number two, I can know how many customers I have as a second customer. তাই না?
Yes, sir.
So the bypassing the price system, I can also allocate resources these three ways. One is by queues, but that depends on what type of good I'm distributing. Lotteries or coupons. There's another one. Oh, I told you, sometimes there can be forced decisions by a government or a governing authority. For example, COVID-19 vaccine is being distributed by the government. Is this a voluntary exchange? Is this a voluntary exchange?
No, sir.
This is not a voluntary exchange. Even if you don't want, the government will force you to have it. Okay. The government forces drivers to wear a seat belt. Is this a voluntary exchange?
No, sir.
But is anybody worried about these two decisions that the government forces people to do? Number one, the government is forcing people to take COVID-19 vaccine. Number two, the government is forcing you to wear a seat belt. এতে কারো কোনো সমস্যা আছে?
No, sir.
No.
স্যার ভ্যাকসিনের ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো অনেকে থাকতে পারে স্যার ওই কিছু
না, কিন্তু government is not making an effort to make drivers wear seat belts. That will be very bad in the media, তাই না? Won't that
Yes,
be
sir.
bad? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So there are some certain things where every society expects that the government will perform these duties. The COVID-19 vaccine and examples like the seatbelt. These are examples where every society will expect that these transactions will not be voluntary. They will be forced upon the people, and this force has to be done through some governing authority or the government. In your context, the governing authority is Brack University. In a larger context, it will become the government or the state. So this is another way of. We're not interested in this, but it's nice to know it. So the last decision is marginal decisions. Okay. Has anybody what do you call it? Classic was you have not heard the concept of marginal cost or marginal benefit. Do we have anybody here who has not heard the concept of marginal cost or marginal benefit? আমাকে কি শুনতে পাচ্ছে সবাই?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I guess সবাই শুনেছে.
Okay, good. Is there anybody here who has not heard marginal costs and marginal benefits? So everybody knows about, or at least has heard marginal costs and marginal benefits, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tale it will take less time. Okay, let me just revisit very quickly. When we make a decision to drink water over time, we never drink 5 glasses of water in one shot. we will probably drink water, 1 glass, 2 glass, 3 glasses, 4 glasses, 5 glasses. Similarly, if we have a production unit, which is a farm or a business house, whatever, this business house will also make a decision. Do we produce 10 more units of this product, or do we produce 20 more units of this product? Over time, you might end up producing 100 units. Over time, throughout the whole day, you might end up drinking 5 or 6 glasses of water. But we never do the production decision or the consumption decision in one shot. আমরা incrementally করি, phase by phase. This type of consumption or decision production is known as marginal, unit wise. Now, this is also a net benefit calculation. If I produce 10 more units of output, what is my additional revenue, my benefit? What is my additional cost, my marginal cost? So I calculate marginal benefits and marginal cost. If marginal benefit is greater than marginal cost, I go for it. এটা তো মোটামুটি সবাই জানে, তাই না?
Yes, sir.
ওকে, এটা যদি জানে তাহলে তো এটা আর কিছুই না। তাহলে we make production decision units. That means we make it marginally, incrementally. How many units this month? 10, 20, etc. When we make decisions, there are incremental costs and benefits, and then it how much benefit for next 10 units, how much cost for next 10 units, etc. Marginal benefit is calculated. So if our additional benefit is greater than additional cost, yes, we go for it. If additional benefit is less than additional cost, no, we don't go for it. And if additional benefit is equal to additional cost, we are indifferent, which is known as an efficient situation. ঠিক আছে? Okay. আচ্ছা, এই জিনিসটা আমাদের দরকার। There are two averages that we will be using, or we may be using. একটা হচ্ছে marginal average, আর হচ্ছে total average. The best way to distinguish between these two is that the marginal average is your GPA. What is your GPA? Isn't it your performance in a particular semester?
Yes, sir.
So if you are in your first semester, your GPA and CGPA at the end of this semester will be the same, তাই না?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you start your second semester, if your GPA is more than CGPA, if your GPA is rising, then what happens to CGPA? CGPA বাড়বে না?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If your GPA is falling, CGPA will also fall, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the thing is, in our economic decision making, the marginal change happens first. That means we first get information about GPA. Once we get information about GPA, then we can calculate what is happening to CGPA. Now, cost wise, আমাদের cost যদি আস্তে আস্তে কমে তাহলে এইভাবে নামবে না গ্রাফটা?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
একটা certain level পর্যন্ত নামবে। Everything has its capacity. তারপর কি আস্তে আস্তে বাড়বে না cost? So basically what happens is, if our marginal cost is falling, average cost will be falling. If marginal cost is rising, average cost will also be rising. So এটা হচ্ছে, it's very simple. এই যে GPA is the average in one semester. This is a marginal calculation because it is the average of one particular semester, semester of a unit. CGPA is the average in first to last observed semester. This is known as average in economics. So when marginal is rising, average is rising. When GPA is rising, then CGPA will also be rising. আচ্ছা, এটা হলো মোটামুটি আজকে আচ্ছা, এইটা now comes the real part of our total discussion today. Since we have two sections, after the Tuesday class, I'll give the assignment. So the Tuesday class will be কবে? Tuesday class will be on 26th October. So, and you submit 3 or 4 days later. Acha. Assignment হবে, I've already discussed. It will be either on what do you call it, opportunity cost, the way we discussed it today, or it could be on the incentive one, the coffee shop. ঠিক আছে, the way we discussed it today. ঘাবড়ানো কিছু নাই, you have to write only 2 sides of a page maximum. So if you write 2 sides of a page, how many paragraphs can you write? Can you type? 7 এর বেশি হবে?
8 or 7, sir.
7 to 8 paragraphs. Okay, and most of it is going to be thinking about how you made this decision at Brack University. When you made this decision, অনেক কিছু you did not calculate. আজকের ডিসকাশনে কিন্তু সেটা বের হয়েছে, তাই না? যে কিছু কিছু জিনিস আমরা এইভাবে ক্যালকুলেট কিন্তু তখন করি নাই, এরকম হয়েছে না?
জি স্যার।
Yes.
So now you can think about your decision with more clarity. Then you just build up a story that I chose Brack. This is why I chose it. And then after 2 semesters, if I find out that I'm in some kind of trouble, how do I get out? Because economics, these decisions, this decision making tells us how to make a good decision. But what happens if the decision is bad? We find that out only after making the decision. ঠিক আছে, তারপর হচ্ছে আরেকটা জিনিস পারপট করা হবে যে okay, you do an MBA from here, it's going to help you all your life. No, that's also a myth. If you do an MBA from here, it will help you for a few years. After that, you look at your bosses, they are constantly updating themselves, তাই না?
Yes, sir.
মানে they're doing this course, that course, because the whole system has become extremely dynamic now. So if they don't update themselves after their MBA, after 2 or 3 years, they will be in trouble. They will either lose their job or they will face no more further progression. So your benefit from an MBA is not going to last forever. It might be say 2 years or 3 years. So ওইভাবে তো আমরা চিন্তা করব. So after that, what can we do when we find out that our decision is not good? So, and this is how we will write our. You will write maximum 2 sides of a page, which means 7 to 8 paragraphs. I will check for plagiarism, but plagiarism check is not a problem if you have written from your own words. If you copy paste some case study from somewhere, turn it in ধরে ফেলবে. Think about yourself, and I'm going to frame the question in such a way that you have to think about yourself. This is how we will write.
Sir, I have a question.
Carry on.
Sir, does it need to be handwritten or computer typed?
The answer is here. AJ, got the answer now? This will be typed?
Yes, sir.
Because otherwise, Turnitin won't be able to, check
Okay.
it.
Okay, thank you, sir. I got my answer.
Okay. So this is how you will send me the PDF. Let me stop share. Abdullah Bokid, are you here? Apurva Rai?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So Apurva
Yes, sir.
Rai, phone number হচ্ছে 21264090. Okay, lovely. So what we do, we go back here. So if Apurva Rai is sending his file, এটা আর কিছুই না, 213 section 1. আরেকটা জিনিস লিখতে হবে, sorry. Assign 1 ID. So this is how Apurva will write his file name. This is you write this thing, section 1, assignment number 1. Then your ID in Apurva's case is 20264090. তাই না Apurva?
Yes, sir.
Okay, lovely. And then he gives a dash and writes his name, Apurva Roy. So এটা হচ্ছে assignment, এখানে assign করতে হবে। Because there will be more assignments. Okay. And from section 2, I've randomly checked, taken another name, Nehazi Ahmed. Okay, so this is how we will do it. On Tuesday.
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
Sir, do we have to do our assignment on PowerPoint?
Sorry?
Sir, assignment কি আমাদের পাওয়ার পয়েন্টে করতে হবে?
পাওয়ার পয়েন্টে কেন করবে? নো 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 নো, অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট হচ্ছে ইয়েতে, এখানে লেখা আছে
Word.
MS Word, sir.
এমএস ওয়ার্ডেই করবে। অনেক সময় যেটা করে কি, অনেকে তো ওয়ার্ডে করেও পিডিএফ সেন্ড করে, তাই না? সো দ্যাট ব্রেকিং টেকিং না হয়।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You do it in Word or PDF?
Sir, what's
What
21.3?
what a better sir.
You do it in Word, MS Word, but sometimes what যেটা হয় কি, লোকজন ওই এমএস ওয়ার্ডটাকে কনভার্ট করে টু পিডিএফ ফর কনভিনিয়েন্স।
Yes, sir. যাতে ব্রেক না হয় আর কি স্যার, বিভিন্ন সেকশন।
Did you get your answer? The person who asked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you definitely, if it's typed out, you definitely, আমি একটা ফরম্যাট দিয়ে দেব, ওই ফরম্যাটের মধ্যে you just fill in your details and you write. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, lovely.
Sir, can you share the slide again, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sir, what's 21.3 is?
21.3 হচ্ছে this is the
Fall
21 fall 20 fall 21. 3 হচ্ছে semester 3.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
কারণ এগুলো আমি যেটা করব কি, after I have checked all your scripts, আমি এটা কিন্তু আবার I will send it back to you.
আমরা তো গুগল ক্লাসরুমে সাবমিট করব।
Google Classroom submit করো, যদি কোনো কারণে না হয় then you can send me an email, but I prefer to get it in Google Classroom. Okay.
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, sir.
আর যেটা হচ্ছে যে after I checked it, I will send all the scripts back to you through Google Drive. That's why I need this referencing. AJ, this 21.3 section 1 assignment 1, the ID and name, ঠিক আছে, so that সবকিছুর সাথে সিরিয়ালি চলে আসে। Got the logic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and those of you who want to know what the this is the this week's reference. Okay, so it's chapter 2, thinking like an economist, page number 25 to 33 and 38 to 44. ঠিক আছে?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of today's discussion. Does anybody have
The deadline is 26th October, right?
No, 26th October I'll give it.
Oh,
না, কারণ আমি এখন দিলে যেটা হবে কি, সেকশন 2 চিল্লাতে থাকবে যে যে আমাদের তো হয় নাই, আপনি দিয়ে দিলেন কেন?
Yes, sir.
all right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, but since I have to juggle 2 sections at the same time, so what I'll do, আমি এমন হতে পারে কাল পরশু দিয়ে দিতে পারি, ঠিক আছে, so that section 2 can discuss it and if you want you can attend the what do you call it, the discussion class on Tuesday.
আমরা কি জুম লিংক পাবো ক্লাসে?
Sorry,
আমরা কি টিউসডে ক্লাসের জুম লিংক পাবো?
sorry, can you say the echo হচ্ছে, can you say again?
আমরা কি টিউসডে ক্লাসের জুম লিংকসও পাবো?
Yeah, aren't you in the Facebook group?
Okay, you posted there, yeah.
My
No, I
Facebook
was thinking about emails. Yes, sir, I'm in the Facebook.
Facebook আমি তো দিয়ে দেই, যে আজকেরটাও দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, so if there is somebody here from section 2 they can definitely attend. এটা তো অনলাইন তো, ঠিক আছে?
Sir, I have a question.
হ্যাঁ
Sir,
হ্যাঁ, carry on.
sir, কোনো ওয়ার্ড লিমিটেশন আছে স্যার অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে?
ওই 2 পেজের মধ্যে এই যে লেখা আছে there, wait, no, it's a logical question. এই যে you will write max 2 sides of a page.
Yes, sir.
এখন 2 sides এর মধ্যে লিমিটেশন আর কত হয়? ধরো এক পেজে you can't write more than 400 words basically.
জি স্যার।
So 400, 800, maybe 900, এর বেশি হবে না।
জি স্যার, অবশ্যই।
Does anybody have any other?
Sir, I have a question.
Just saying, কে করছে এই কোশ্চেনটা? Can you হ্যাঁ, repeat again please.
স্যার আমাদের অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা তাহলে মানে কবে দিতে পারেন?
অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা আমি কাল পরশুর মধ্যেই দিব, ঠিক আছে, but the thing is it will be effective from the Tuesday class থেকে 2 বা 3 days টাইম থাকবে, ঠিক আছে?
নেক্সট টিউসডে ক্লাস থেকে এটা ইফেক্টিভ আর 3 ডেজ এর মতো হাতে টাইম থাকবে।
You'll get 3 দিনের মতো টাইম থাকবে।
Sir, I have a question. Sir, আমাদের টেক্সট বুক or reference বুকটা কি স্যার আপনার কাছে পিডিএফ আছে যেটা আপনি গুগল ক্লাসরুমে?
Have you accessed the Google Drive?
স্যার I have আমি স্যার আপনার ক্লাসের রেফারেন্স গুলো সবগুলাই ওখান থেকে ডাউনলোড করেছি।
হ্যাঁ, ওখানে সব টেক্সট বুক গুলো সব ওখানে আছে, একটা আলাদা ফোল্ডার আছে টেক্সট কথা। If you open that folder, you'll find the texts there.
Thank you, sir.
The problem is we're not going to read the entire text, which is 600 pages. So if I now আজকেরটাতে আমি পেজ নাম্বার দিয়ে দিচ্ছি না?
জি স্যার।
You look at that particular chapter.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Sir, I have a question.
Please carry on.
Sir, I would like to know about the format, like Times New Roman, font size, line spacing.
Are you going to use a font size number 5?
No.
You'll definitely use 10 at least, right now?
12. Usually I use 12, but
When you use 12,
and line spacing 1.5 or single spacing.
single spacing হলেও হবে, অসুবিধা নাই। ঠিক আছে?
বেসিক্যালি স্যার কোনো রিকোয়ারমেন্ট স্পেশাল নাই
তাই বলে এখন if you make your font size 5,
না স্যার রিডেবল হতে হবে আর কি, এটা হলো কথা।
হ্যাঁ, if you make it 16, তাতে সেটা হবে 10 11 12
অ্যাকচুয়ালি স্যার একটা স্ট্যান্ডার্ড থাকে যেমন 12 এন্ড লাইন স্পেসিং
পেজের মার্জিন কি 0.5 নাকি 1
এগুলো থাকে।
সিঙ্গেল হলেই হবে, অসুবিধা নাই। কথা হচ্ছে whether you can write something on your own. That I'm more interested to see that.
Sir,
Carry on.
sir, it's not a question, it's actually a concern. Sir, মাঝে মাঝে স্যার টার্নিটিনে সাবমিট করার পরেও যখন প্লেজারিজম চেক হয়, দেন own words এ লিখলেও কিছু কিছু সময় অন্য আর্টিকেলের রেফারেন্স আসে, then you'll have to go to that article.
Okay, I'll tell you an I'll answer that question now. Suppose if somebody has written Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh, ঠিক আছে, এই জিনিসটা at least 1 million জায়গায় লেখা হয়েছে না?
Yes sir.
So Turnitin can catch it. If Turnitin catches that, I'll definitely have to ignore it.
Sir, that's what I was asking. মানে এরকম অনেক সময় হয় own word এ লিখলেও
Turnitin তো it's just an algorithm, তাকে যেভাবে কমান্ড দেওয়া হয়েছে সে সেভাবে কাজ করবে, তাই না? আচ্ছা, suppose you write a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus twice ab plus b square. Turnitin তো এটাও ধরে ফেলতে পারে না?
Yes sir.
So I'll have to just omit it. But Turnitin যদি দেখায় যে তুমি প্যারাগ্রাফকে প্যারাগ্রাফ কপি পেস্ট করছো একটা এক্সটার্নাল সোর্স থেকে, that will be a little bit embarrassing, তাই না?
Yes sir, sir, that I know, but জিনিসটা কি আর্টিকেলে যে চেক করতে হয় যে own words এ লিখেছি or it's another article. তো এটাই
কিছু সেন্টেন্স কনস্ট্রাকশন আছে না, যেমন ফর এক্সাম্পল ইউ আর ডুইং আ স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্যাল টেস্ট, ইউ সে দ্যাট দ্য টি টেস্ট ইজ সো এন্ড সো। এই টি টেস্ট শব্দটা তো 10 মিলিয়ন জায়গায় আছে। সো Turnitin can catch these silly things, ঠিক আছে, but if the Turnitin does do that, I'll have to ignore it.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Acha, any other questions from anybody?
Sir, I have one question. Actually, I want to.
It's a concern, right?
No, sir. Actually, I like to hear your opinion about microcredit system in Bangladesh.
Yeah, I'm not an authority in that. Mixed experience.
Okay, so I was actually looking at a YouTube clip from Vice News. They have hunted down a black market channel where they have found out that from Bangladesh, people, especially from the rural area, they are selling kidneys to the developed countries, especially the West.
This kidney black market is not only in Bangladesh, you can find it in India as well.
Yes, sir. But one of the main reason I'm asking you is because the people who are selling these kidneys, they are falling in a death trap that has been created by the Grameen Bank for this microcredit system. So I was actually asking, I was actually hoping to
I'm not
that you. Okay, sir. Because I have also heard, read some articles from the economists. They are not in favor of about the microcredit system.
The
So
microcredit
actually,
launched, it was a fantastic revolution. But the trouble is, you see, over time, things have to be adapted according to changing times. The microcredit hasn't been adapted over time. ঠিক আছে আর যে কোনো জায়গায় wherever there is economic rent seeking, there will be some kind of corruption. If there is no economic growth in this country, there will be no corruption. That's another problem with any economic growth. Do you think that there's no corruption in China?
no, sir. I mean,
Of course there is. There has been corruption in Malaysia.
yes,
Malaysia,
sir.
Malaysia is shown as a success story, right?
Yes,
But
sir. There are some big scandals there.
lots of big scandals. The Congress government in India, they lost the election and they haven't been able to return to power because during that time there was lots of big corporate scandals.
Yes, sir.
Because there was a lot of growth in India. So whenever there is growth or any kind of economic, okay, no.
So we can hear you.
Okay, whenever there's economic growth or any kind of economic activity, there will be scope for some kind of corruption.
So especially it is for developing countries.
Even in developed countries, you think in America there's no corruption regarding their insurance policies, insurance companies?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Yes.
Lot of where it has nothing to do with a developing country or developed country. মানুষ সুযোগ পেলে দুষ্টামি করবে।
স্যার ডেভেলপড কান্ট্রির ক্ষেত্রে বললাম স্যার যে ওদের রেগুলেশনটা একটু করা থাকে রিলেটিভলি ডেভেলপিং কান্ট্রিগুলোর থেকে এই কারণে স্যার
বাট কিন্তু সেখানেও ফাঁক ফোকর দিয়ে কিছু না কিছু হবে। There's some kind of pilferage is always there. Okay, then any other questions from the floor? No more?
No, sir.
Okay, Tale, shall I finish it here?
Okay, sir.
Okay, Tale. I'll make the recordings and etc. available when they're ready, huh?